Welcome and thank you for being here. Just a very quick video today. This is in my I Was Asked series, and I've been asked, why don't I eat meat? Eating meat is a very personal preference. Eating meat is needed by some blood types, by some blood groups. I don't understand it all by diet, but I know that there are diets out there, the blood group diet, if you were to look it up. I think there's a gentleman who has devised a plan letting people see and know that actually they need meat in their diet because that is their blood group. So I purely don't eat meat because, no, not purely actually. There's two reasons. I've never liked meat, so as a child, I just pushed it around my plate and never really liked it. It would just sit on the side of the plate, or sometimes I would sneakily feed it to the dog if he was under the table, because I never liked it. It never felt right to me. And back in the back end of 2002, I can remember one day coming down the stairs and saying to my, he's my husband now, but saying to my partner then, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. It doesn't feel right. I don't feel that I need to eat meat to survive. And I started out on this long journey of cutting meat out of my diet and actually understanding what was the right diet for me. So I'd been really quite poorly growing up, and I was always in and out of the doctors, and every blood test I ever had, I was anemic. When I turned vegan and I was eating properly, so I was eating lots of pulses and making sure that I was adding the broccoli for the calcium and the Brazil nuts for the selenium, and I eat lots of sources of protein. So the soya, I don't eat too much of the tofu, so I do like to eat tofu, but I get a lot of my protein from peas and beans. So it's personal preference. So I don't eat it because I don't feel that I need to, and I don't like eating another sentient being. I mean, I even thank my carrots before I eat them. Any of my vegetables, actually, when I eat a meal, especially, well, when I enjoy a meal, but when I eat a meal, I give a little thought to who grew it, who picked it, who packed it, who sold it to me. It's to be thanking for the process of where the food has come from. My husband still eats meat, and I cook meat for him and for my family if they come to dinner. I don't have a problem with that, as long as the meat that comes into the home is organic, or at the very least free range. So when you're eating non-organic meat that's not been free range and not being slaughtered correctly, you are taking in the fear that animal felt when it was slaughtered, and I don't want to go down the route of telling you the horrific tales that there are, because I don't ever preach about not eating meat. That's not me at all. It's personal preference. I like to say to people, just do your homework to see that if you're eating a cheap meat, it's probably because at some stage it's been pumped full of antibiotics, it's not been treated correctly, and it probably hasn't been slaughtered correctly. So if it's been slaughtered and it's in fear, that fear stays within the body, and when you and your family eat that meat, you are eating in the fear as well as the antibiotics. So the antibiotics that get pumped just as a matter of course, they use the antibiotics. So with organic, if an antibiotic is used, it's not used as a matter of course, but if an antibiotic is used, it has to be out of its system before it is slaughtered. And we buy our meat locally at Ben's Farm Shop, which we really like at Yampton. And we know that the meat that comes from there has been treated properly, and you can trace it back. So like I said, personal choice. 21 years ago, I gave up meat, and I haven't eaten it since that day that I just decided. And interestingly, I was attuned to Reiki just a few short months later, and that's very common. I mean, I'm a Reiki master now. I've been a Reiki master for 10 years now. And yeah, when you start on your Reiki journey, if you're not supposed to be eating meat, you'll feel that change within yourself. So really, those are my views on eating meat. If you enjoy meat, eat meat, but just think about where it's come from. And remember to thank the animal, thank the grower, thank the person that has processed the meat and brought it to you. Okay. Love and light. See you soon.